course, welcome to Nyeri County, where we are at Mukorowe, at the home of the Reverend Dr. James Mwangi Munyi. And this is a place that he has done a lot of work with preparing an institution, the Ugeni Missions and Pastoral Center. A very beautiful place. And welcome as we discuss issues pertaining to the ministry and the journey to retirement and all the other things that are in the future plans of the Reverend Dr. Mwangi Munyi. So, karibuni and enjoy as you listen. So, Reverend Munyi, say hi to the viewers.
Viewers, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is. I'm glad to be here with Dr. Karemi and ready to share what information or words of inspiration we might share for the good of the kingdom.
Yes, thank you so much for creating time to be with us. Can you tell us who is Dr. Mwangi Munyi?
Mwangi Munyi is a son of Mr. and Mrs. Munyi. Mm-hmm. I'm the last born in my family, a family of 6. Mm. And I was born here in Nyeri, right here. Mm-hmm. And this is my home. Yes. So our little farm here. Mm. I'm a husband. Yes. To Joyce Mwangi, and a father of 4, yes, and grandfather of 5. Okay. Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah. Wow. So, Dr. Munyi, what were you doing before you joined the ministry?
I was, after high school, I got a job at the Voice of Kenya, yes, then Voice of Kenya. Mm-hmm. And that was actually in the year 1970. Okay. And I was a library clerk, gramophone library, yes, and I was there and from 1970 to 1977. Yes. But in between, 1973 actually, I got saved. Yes. Okay. I met a Christian guy who was a very humble guy, very hardworking. And very joyous, yes, very happy guy. So one day he just asked me, James, would you receive Jesus Christ as your Savior? And the question hit me some because I had not been asked the question before. Long story short, I said yes. And we read the Bible. He had a pocket Bible. You know, these days we are carrying on these phones. He had a pocket Bible. Yeah. And he opened Revelation 3:20. And asked me to read. And I said, yes, let me read. So I read, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, yes, I'll come in and sup with him. That became the foundational text for my commitment to Jesus Christ. And after 3 years, I resigned from my job and joined the Presbyterian Church, Bahati Parish, and went to the Pastoral Institute in 1978. Okay. Yeah. So you were at Pastoral Institute from 1978? 78, 79, yes. Okay. So what really, you were working at the current KBC and you had a good job. What prompted you to join the ministry? Well, this commitment to Jesus Christ revolutionized my life. The things that I thought I liked, the prestige of working in a government institution of high caliber, that became like nothing to me. The zeal and the passion to know more of Christ made me leave the job. In fact, some people thought I was crazy, leaving the job. Yeah. My father had, you are leaving the job to go where? To a Bible school. Oh, and I'm told he was ready to send some elders to talk to me. But yeah.
Okay, so did you have a background of Christianity?
Yes, I
your
did.
Parents?
I did. It wasn't personal. It was family. It was community.
Yes.
Actually, I was baptized in the Roman Catholic Church.
Okay.
Back there in 1963, and I was confirmed.
Yes.
But my mother had always been Presbyterian as long as I knew her.
So,
But when the kids went to school,
yes.
Catholic schools, they were catechized and they became Roman Catholics.
Yeah.
And so when I followed suit as the last born, going to a Catholic school, I was catechized as well and became a Catholic.
So you were baptized as an adult?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, I was baptized as a little boy.
As a little boy?
Yes.
Who was your guardian or parent at the baptism?
I can't remember, but I was baptized by Bishop Father Sarah and confirmed by a Bishop Cavalera.
Okay.
So when I got saved, my mother told me, remember you're Presbyterian. That was interesting. Remember you're Presbyterian.
Yes.
So earlier, out of context, I was telling you about Jotham Munyi, a brother in Christ.
Yes.
He was working at the University of Nairobi and I was at the Voice of Kenya. We got to know each other after my salvation. So he took me to a PCA church, Bahati, and there I began my journey.
Okay.
I was reschooled. I was received by Reverend Mureu Kaburogo. Yes, in Bahati. And so I became a full member of the church. I became a youth member, a choir member. Then the CAC session of Bahati approved me to go to train for ministry under the presbytery of Nairobi, Uganda, and the coast.
Yes.
The biggest presbytery ever was in PCA
at that time.
And moderator Njao. He was our presbytery moderator.
Okay.
Later he became a moderator of the GA.
Okay.
So that's my journey.
Okay. So I'm curious now. At what point did you get married?
Exactly. That's a very good question.
Yes.
As I was leaving Voice of Kenya, I had in my mind and heart a girlfriend, but I wasn't committed.
Yes.
But when I received Christ, I said, no, I will not see any other lady. I remembered my joys.
Yes.
So I got married in 78.
Okay.
I was in Bible school.
The reason why I'm asking that question because I'm afraid you would have been a Catholic priest had you not gotten saved in 1873.
Interesting question, insight. Because when I was growing up, 6-7 years, I was dreaming, you know, like you ask kids, what would you like to become when you grow old? So my answer was, I would like to become a priest or a musician.
Were you an altar boy?
No, I didn't go there. I didn't reach there.
Okay. So now, take some time and bring us to the journey into ministry. You have mentioned about it. And this is a journey that you were not sure where you were getting into or you were heading to. What really prompted you? Okay, you got saved and you went to PCA Bahati and you were with the ministers like Kavurugu, and you mentioned at some point Reverend Samuel Yoke of the outside of this conversation. So what really triggered the call into the ordained ministry?
I believe that Reverend Kavurugu, he personified some personhood of a minister who was very caring.
Yes.
And he was a great influence. Yeah, he was a great influence in my sense of calling, even to go to the Pastoral Institute.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find the transition from now working for VOK and then going into the ministry? It
was hard. It was hard. In fact, my sister asked me in that transition, one of my sisters, she asked me, now, will you be getting some money? Have you really decided? I told her, Catherine, and Catherine, hello, if you watch this. Catherine, there are some decisions that only you, only one can make for oneself. And that was the decision I'd made to leave the job and come to to the ministry. In fact, later on, after Pastoral Institute, I was sent to be the first chaplain, resident chaplain at the Administration Police Training College. Yes, I was the first person to be a resident chaplain. The government asked the church, the PCA, because that was an outreach of Bahati. And later on, my father-in-law, when I got that job, he told me, this is the job you left at the Voice of Kenya. Now you're coming back to work for the government as a minister. Yeah.
So now I'm interested to know, that was your first job. Had you been ordained before you became the chaplain?
I was ordained there.
Okay.
Yes.
Or you were ordained or you were doing chaplaincy?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
I was given licensed on March 31st. I believe it was 31st of 81, and ordained on December 6th, the same year, 81, while I was the chaplain there. Yeah.
Were you asked, was chaplaincy a part of your calling?
No.
You were just posted there?
The Posting and Appointment Committee. I had been sent to work with Reverend Musiemi.
Okay.
Musiemi down in Madari Parish. And come 81, the Posting Committee sent me to Embakasi, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I stayed there, and I still got connections. People who pride that, oh, we met the pioneer chaplain of administration police.
Okay.
Yeah.
At that time, were you longing to be in parochial ministry?
No, I was not.
You were comfortable?
I was okay.
Okay.
But we had to do special entrance to go and do Bachelor of Divinity at Limuru. So the Presbytery of Nairobi, Uganda and the Coast recommended me.
Okay.
So I left APTC and went to Limuru, to St. Paul's. For further studies? For the BD, Bachelor of Divinity.
And up to that point, you had not experienced parochial ministry?
No.
Okay.
I had not.
That's interesting.
Apart from being, a theological student. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, where were you a theological student? No, when you were, okay, a theological student, not a student, a minister.
Yeah.
In practical training. Now I understand. So now after St. Paul, you went to St. Paul's. Then where did you go after that?
St. Paul's 83 to 86. Then 86 I was appointed my first parish. And it was a new parish. The old Gong parish was subdivided, and I was given Oloraizir. Okay. Oloraiza or Oloraizir, however you pronounce it. Rongai, Ongata Rongai, Keserian, Koroi, Upper Matasia, Lower Matasia, Olkeri. I was given that parish. So I was there 86 and 87. Yeah.
Then after that?
After that, we had an interesting situation in the church. Dr. Njoya who was at St. Andrews, and that was our presbytery, new presbytery of Gong. And there were politics, internal politics, and I was said to be backing Dr. Njoya in a big way. Yes. So I was given some leave. And after the leave, which was less than 30 days, I was posted to the Gengi parish here in Nyeri Presbytery.
That's time I got to know you. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, wow. So, you were given a leave. Was it disciplinary in nature?
Well, yeah, I was given time off so that whatever some people wanted to be done would be done with my absence. Okay. Because in my presence,
you were fighting for Dr. Joy.
For the good cause, Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I would call it disciplinary as such, but it was.
Okay.
Well, there was no offense, so there ought to be no discipline.
You were giving your point of view, and you had every right to do that.
And I had passion for it.
Now, it's good to hear that. Dr. Munyi, you have spent quite a substantial part of your ministry in the diaspora. Can you tell us about your journey to diaspora? At what point did you go to the US?
Yes, after the Genge in 1989, I worked with the very Reverend Mwindi, late Reverend Mwindi here in Nyeri. It was a big parish, large parish in Nyeri. And then I met a good friend of mine who told me, James, you better not stay here here in Nyeri. I didn't know why, but I took his cue. And anyway, I asked the appointment committee to take me elsewhere. And they took me to Chuka. The parish of Dagani was subdivided. Chuka was divided into Dagani and Kireni. So I was given Dagani. And I was there 91 and a bit of 92. And then Dr. Kuria, Plosson Kuria, the then Secretary General. Yeah. Informed me of potential scholarships at Emory University. Okay. So I was given a partial scholarship, and in 92, I went to the US for my master's at Emory University. Yes. Yeah, Candler School of Theology. Okay. And I was there 92, 93, and then I lingered on, and I went to ITC for my doctorate in ministry, and I stayed there. You know, I was with my wife and kids. Our last born, who is now 31, went there when he was 3 weeks. Yes. So we've been there for some time. And I joined the Presbyterian US as an international student. Yes. And was in Georgia for 7 years. Then I moved to Alabama. Yes. I was doing clinical pastoral education to the supervisory level. And I was there again until 2005. And came back here. My mother was sickly, so my wife and I agreed that I resign my chaplaincy job and come and be with my mother. And so when I came here, the church said, "Oh, you are back. Can you do this parish here, Cuthbert?" Okay. First of all, I was sent to Nyamachaki. Okay. And then the presbytery said, "No, James, go to St. Cuthbert, and the minister who was there at Nyamachaki would stay." And I did, you know, we obeyed until the church said no. The following year, they said, 2007 there. No, James, we sent you to Nyamachaki. You go to Nyamachaki. The presbytery was rightly pressured. Yes. So I went to Nyamachaki, and after a year or two, I said, you know what? My family is in the US. I'm here. I wasn't ready as such to come because it was my mother's reason, and she passed, and we sent her off, and I was glad that she died when I was here, because my father had died when I was in US, in Alabama, and you can't imagine coming all the way to bury your beloved in your mother country. Yes. So I was glad that my mother died when I was here, and after a year, my wife and I again consulted and said, you know what, let me take early retirement. Okay. So I took early retirement from the Presbytery of Nyeri in 2008 and went back to be with my family until last year when I finally retired. Okay. Yeah. Now,
let's go back to something that you mentioned for the benefit of the viewers, the issue of clinical pastoral education.
Yes.
And the chaplains, the work, and what CPE entails.
Yeah, CPE is a study of theology and other disciplines, psychology and philosophy and sociology. It is a study that forms, actually, helps form the minister. In fact, other denominations in US, the main denominations, their ministers have to do a unit of clinical pastoral education before they are ordained. So I took 4 units, Then I took 8 supervisory units. And I didn't pursue certification, but I have trained chaplains over there, you know, under supervision. And I have groomed and mentored chaplains. Something that I would really like to continue here in some way, because we have the knowledge, we have the curriculum, we have the structure, and we can do CP here. Yeah.
And it's good to mention for the benefit of the viewers that it is one cause that would be quite beneficial to those that are in hospital chaplaincy.
Exactly.
Especially.
Exactly. So, how do you engage a patient? How do you engage a staff member, you know, a nurse or a doctor? How do you come across, you know, come along the family in their grief or in their joy? It is a form of accompaniment, pastoral accompaniment. In the here and now of pain or joy. It's a good thing. And not only for hospital chaplains, but chaplains in schools and industries and factories and the workplace.
So, Reverend Munyi, now let's venture into your diaspora experience and the, you know, the experience you got that is different from being in the ministry in the PCA here.
Well, thank you for that question. Diaspora is a foreign land. You know, it's not home. We try to make it home. And in many ways it is home. But it is not home. It's not like the first home. So there's some sense of being a stranger, being an outsider, outside the community. And one of the experiences, my experiences, is some sense of loneliness. That as I engaged and related with my American friends, there was still that lack of the genuineness of a friendship, for example. Somebody who really knows you, who would like to know you. But I met very good people. I was received very well by many families. And it wasn't easy. I had my partial scholarship, and the university helped me, gave me a job in the library at Emory University. Thereafter, I did other odd jobs, we would call them odd jobs, to be able to put food on the table with the family. And my wife as well, she worked in various places. And yeah, but it is not home. You know?
It is.
Some people have been asking me, why have you come? And I remind them that east or west,
home is best.
Home is best. Made very many friends, genuine friends, very good helpers, volunteers. You know, America, they have the spirit of volunteerism. And if they help you, they'll help you. You're not their own. So it is interesting that you find an educated African person, very educated, and not being able to get employed. Of course, you're a foreigner, you have to become, either you have the green card or some way of working out your citizenship. If you want to have dual citizenship, you find people kind of overlook you. But many people respect your education, respect your experience as a minister. Yeah.
Okay. But,
I used to tell people, America is not heaven.
Yeah, I know.
And it is not hell either. Yeah.
Okay. But the much that I know about you, you were basically involved in chaplaincy, never in church ministry.
Well, at some point, you know, the PCUSA have a program called 1001 Worshiping Communities. So at some point in California, in the Presbyterian Riverside, I was asked to initiate, to start a fellowship. And a number of us, my Kenyan family and other people, other nationalities, we did begin in 2013. a worshiping community called Multicultural Transformation Multicultural Fellowship.
Okay.
And I ministered. My wife and I ministered. Joyce is a local pastor and a commissioned chaplain as well,
okay,
with the PCUSA in the Riverside Presbytery. So we did pastor a church, a fellowship, from 2013 to last year.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. And it was a very good experience. Very good experience.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that is unlike the churches that some of our people begin launch over there for our people here,
Yes.
for our African people. That was a multicultural fellowship. They had Chinese, we had Japanese, we had Filipinos, we had two families from Africa, Kenya and Zimbabwe, and the others were Caucasians,
Okay.
Americans. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. Now we...
Unfortunately, we did close the fellowship. The presbytery did not get anybody willing to come and take over and continue the ministry. We had to close.
Wow. Well, that's quite unfortunate. Now, we go into your journey to retirement, and there is also an interesting dimension there. You were in Kenya, applied for early retirement, but then when you went back to the US, you went to work.
I did.
How did you prepare yourself for the early retirement?
Early retirement came about because I had to return to my family.
Okay.
And I was the moderator then of the Presbytery of Nyeri.
Yes.
And we were doing very well at Nyamachaki, and we had 50 congregations here. 50, yeah. You know, I think now we have 14,
yes.
14 parishes. So there was still in me that sense of being a pastor.
Yes.
And people say once a pastor, always a pastor.
Yes.
So when I went over there and I reintroduced myself to the PCUSA, who had accepted me earlier, they would send me to certain congregations to preach. And I would be, in fact, I was once in the pastoral committee of the Presbytery of Riverside. And so I was involved. But then, you see, being a chaplain with a congregation enhances both sides.
Yes.
So when I went over there and I was looking for a job, and I got the chaplain's job all the way from Alabama to Apple Valley, California. And then the presbytery asked me if we could start a fellowship around. So that ministry continues. I never really retired as such.
Yes.
I went on to be a pastor. It's a question of being more than even doing. So in me, the spirit of the pastor continues even today. But I had to retire from gainful employment.
Yes.
And I was always looking forward to returning to Kenya, to give back to the community and to the church.
Yes.
What the church had and the community had given me. And in fact, even in America, I was, you know, they educated me to some good level, and I felt good giving back as a chaplain.
Yes.
I will show you a clip here of a gazette that they interviewed me over there at some point. So there is actually no retirement when it comes to ministry. What comes to an end is the being salaried and being available for posting. You know, I'm not available for posting unless there are crises
I know,
in the church.
Yes.
And we saw this vision. This place here is a vision that is actually over 35 years old. We wanted to have a place of prayer. And it has changed terms, phrases. Now, this place we are calling Ugeni, Missions, and Pastoral Center. So all the books that we have accumulated over the years and bought and given by friends are here. and we're going to make this a library. This one is a library, actually. This is a place where people can come and pray and read and engage, kind of have a fellowship of many sorts, because it is a work of the kingdom beyond the church, the work of the kingdom going beyond the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So viewers, one thing we want to say that the retired Dr. James Mwangi Munyi is actually involved in a major project that is going on in this particular area. And I want you to speak more about the Ugeni Missions and Pastoral Center, because this is something that the viewers need to understand, what you're doing and what you're preparing to do, and the future plans about this place.
Oh, thank you indeed.
Though you are retired.
My retirement in Nyeri Presbytery, I am attached to one of the parishes, Nyamachaki at this point. But I'm not the minister there. So I have a lot of time to give to this vision. Ugeni missions, the concept of Ugeni is a Latin word coming from hospitality, whereby the host becomes the guest, and the guest becomes the host. Like now, you came over to me. I was supposed to be your host, but now I'm your guest. So it's a place of interaction, a place of exchanging ideas, a place of praying. So we built this place in 2017. We have an office here in the library. In 2019, going to 20, we started the chapel. We have a chapel. We have a manse over there. We call it JJ Mana. That is Mama Munyi's residence. We have an old house here that we built in 1990 before going to the US, and we want to expand it to become a like a guest house. We have a large field here. I showed you earlier when you came, you pointed to a place there, and I told you, we talked about theology and sports. So God willing, we're going to bring people here to relax, to pray, to engage. And it is a lifetime kind of thing. We have a board, and we are looking to launching next year.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good for us viewers to understand that what we found here actually surprised us. We were coming to a retired minister, but then there's a lot of work that is going on here, and it seems like a very good retreat center and a prayer center, somewhere that you can come even when you feel stressed up and relax and pray and meet with God. So we will take some photos and go around and get to understand more about this project. And I must say that I'm quite impressed.
Most
and that's why I'm saying, you may say you are retired, but you're doing a better job than some of us that are active in ministry.
In fact, we are doing farming as well.
Yes.
Small holding, of course. We plan to keep some cows so that when guests come here, we can cook tea for them, things like that.
Yes.
And right now we got strawberries, and we have onions, and we have tomatoes. We want to become self-sustaining as a center in the near future, and then engage the community. You know, like when these houses were being built, we had a lot of labor. And the jobs were not many. So we thank God that God has used this farm, we call it Hemu Farm, by the way, and used us to bless communities. Our motto at Ugeni is we are blessed to bless. Actually, blessed to bless. And there are three principles. Briefly, we are teaching and reminding people that we have been forgiven by God, and we cannot help but also forgive. So we are training, we are reminding Christians and endearing the spirit of forgiveness in the community, in the family. We are forgiven to forgive, and then we are given to give. So we want to teach generosity. The church has does not need to be pushed to giving. No, we are givers because God is a giver.
Yes.
He gave us his son, Jesus Christ, so that we might be saved. So a Christian is a person who has the spirit of giving, the spirit of forgiving, And lastly, that catches all of that. We are blessed to bless. We are blessing. Actually, you are blessing, Dr. Karemi. Thank you for coming.
Thank God.
You are a blessing here. And so we want to invite people to own their faith by forgiving, by giving, and by blessing.
Forgiving, giving, and blessing.
Yes.
That's very important. And so that's the future plan. So now, you are attached to a parish.
Yes.
Can you speak into the working relationship between retired ministers and active ministers in Nyeri Presbytery?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Our active ministers in this presbytery are very welcoming. They see another hand, another voice. So they facilitate our preaching, my preaching, for example, at Nyamachaki. Nyamachaki, when people hear Nyamachaki, they just hear of a congregation. But Nyamachaki has 4 congregations. There is Kangemi, there is Gagarithi, and there is Kiawara in the slums down there. And this is the Nyamachaki itself. So I'm in the program. Every 3 months, they ask me, the committee asks me, give us some days when you are free. And so I give them some days and they put me wherever they find fit. And I do attend the session, but not in a way that I have to. No, I like giving people space. So unless really there is something that the minister invites me to, I give a lot of apologies. But once in a while,
which is wisdom.
But once in a while I do go and engage. Yes.
Okay.
And the presbytery is very, very kind to us. We retired ministers. We attend all the sessions of the presbytery and of course as ministers, retired ministers. We have a fraternity of retired ministers.
In the presbytery?
Yes, in the presbytery.
Wow.
And the presbytery facilitates that. We are very thankful. We engage in the presbytery in a wise way, let people talk, let the active ministers do their job, but once in a while, when the Spirit prompts, I speak or we speak.
Yes.
And it's a good thing. The fellowship is good. Yeah.
The one very important thing that you have mentioned is the facilitation of a fraternal of retired ministers. How many are you, by the way?
We are 6.
6?
Yeah, 6 retired ministers.
Because that's something that maybe some other presbyteries need to learn from Nyeri Presbytery.
Exactly.
Facilitating the fraternal of retired ministers so that you can share experiences and be one another's support system.
Yeah, and we are also in the fraternity of the active ministers.
Yes.
Whereby we engage with them in an orderly manner outside the court.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Very helpful.
Oh, that is very important. I think we have learned a lot of things today in terms of your work, in terms of your call, in terms of your diaspora experience, in terms of now the plans that you have and what you are doing in this place. This quite magnificent place, and we have to congratulate you for this work and the vision that you have. Praying that this is going to be a game changer in terms of when we look for somewhere that you want to retreat and to pray and to feel that it is not just a place of prayer, but it also has a theological dimension. That's very important. A library like this. So this is very important. And thank you for your time and the things that you have shared with us. Do you have something else you want to tell
Thank you for your remarks. Yes. This is not our thing. This is God's doing.
Yes.
And he's not done with us yet. And thank you again for your calling.
Yes.
This calling, this is great. This is big. In fact, part of my theological training was theology and media.
Yes.
And you are doing exactly what I would have liked
yeah,
to do.
you were in VOK.
I was in Voice of Kenya. So congratulations to you also. And thanks be to God for the church for giving you this opportunity.
Yes.
May God continue to bless you as you bless many.
Amen.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your time, and now remember, for giving, and blessing.
Amen.
God bless you so much,
Amen.
Dr. Munyi,
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers, see you in the next episode of The Legends.